setting the tone, moving the basketball. You want with a quality look. And the interesting thing, the first possession, Paul George guarding Patrick Beverly.
George rising. George drives on Reeves, spins away, fades, fires. What a shot by Paul George. 15 points.
PG got himself going, gives a little dribble move demonstration, fades away, and nothing but.
No points in the previous 2 games. George on the baseline, that's his spot. You see that all the time, that little fade. He needed 3 to send this one into overtime. George, the step away for the tie. Oh my goodness! He put it in! God bless Paul George! Post Mark Jackson Clipper days. So notice I said the last 25 years.
Yes, leave me out of that.
George again, his sweet spot.
And nobody saw it. Paul George having his way on his terms. Again, you allow him to play one, knock down the top one.
Turnover by Westbrook. That's 4 by the Lakers. Here's Paul George, 6 points so far. Clippers looking for the lead. George puts it up off the window. It's good! Are you kidding me? Paul George with 24. Timeout, Chicago.
To knock it in at PG, doing PG things right here. Nice touch. Mwah, off the glass.
George was 7 to shoot for the Clippers. Drives in on Bullock. He goes to the house. Oh my! Hello, nasty!
I think you love this move. I think you like the end of it, by the way.
And the intensity is picked up on both ends by both teams. George, tough shot. Hook rattles it. To lead the way. George looks to retaliate straight away and does. A nice sign for Paul George after going 5 for 19 yesterday. Have been both. Vincent guarded 3. Man with the rebound. Miami just 4 of 19 from the 3-point line. Clippers creeping back into it. George from the line to the lane to the rim. Oh, takes it to the house and makes a little noise.
Doing what he does best, identifies where the open spot is, and again, when misses to kind of keep that momentum and that pace up.
George down the lane. Look out below as he rattles the street lamps out on figure.
Going to the backcourt.
George knocks it down, and this is the guy that we...
Clippers will get their first crack at. Paul George for 3. Spo thought he would come out aggressive.
To Porter Jr., 66 to 65. Matthews has taken 25 shots all year. They're all 3s. As the Rockets turn it over, George slows the roll with 3:44 to play. Fires a 3 in transition. It's all team Dennis Schroeder, but they get it into Paul George. Has time to take a dribble, pulls up for 3 and knocks it down. Paul George at the buzzer from downtown. Halftime lead. Steven Adams was wide open on the inbounds pass. That's plenty of time to get it to Paul George. 4 to play in the 3rd. George, mouth begins to water. Down the lane, floater is good.
The bench. Very rare to see a guy as accomplished as that coming off the bench at this point of his career because due to injuries. Paul George, a baseline splash for him. He got to the Euro step nicely, went right at Morris, froze him. Oh, Paul George. That was a frozen rope. You remember he lost basically a whole year plus when he...
Paul George and Zoo works.
Zoo. Oh, it went from mild to wild. In the blink of an eye, Zoo with the flush.
Very good out of...
With the handle on the basketball. And it's thrown away. They lead in steals. This guy right there leads the NBA in steals. Paul George.
For trouble as he's got his second steal already and his second Laker town. But for a minute, it was a Clipper town.
Boy, beautiful ball movement. The Thunder started by Schroeder, who rifled a pass down low to George.
We know Paul can dribble, but he can pass it too. That's a tough pass.
Timeout.
George picked up by Porter Jr. rises for 3 in the tie. Damn! 93!
Got the lead. Westbrook has a triple-double, and Paul George may have just won this game for the Thunder.
Young fella ain't lacking confidence. You better believe that.
George for 3. Can he retaliate? Dueling banjos in downtown.
And three-point shooter, the better off his team would be. Him knocking down that consecutive three-point shot put his team up 8 points.
22-14 is Paul George. It's a nifty lay in. George goes to work. George. Clippers lead. In the quarter, Rockets 5 for 17. George to Zoo to the cup. Oh, and he thunders it in.
They're not going to use it. George with 5. George drives over Gobert. It's good with 8/10 of a second left to give the Thunder a 1-point lead. Timeout, Utah.
And here comes Westbrook. Off to Adams. Westbrook corner. George for the lead. Westbrook got the assist. It is a 3.
Absolutely. The Wizards look like they're in that matchup 2-3 zone right now.
It's Paul George getting to the basket, and they're going to count it and 1.
Middle and Paul George. Where did he get the ball? Right to the middle of the floor. Gaining some.
Backing down on Davis, gets into the paint. Spoon feeds Ivica Zubac, who slams it in with 2.
Two double team. Find Zoo. Zoo moving to the open spot. Side and underneath.
Gio guarding George. High ball screen for PG. He hits a 3.
And Porzingis has
$22 million contract with his performance in the playoffs. George 3 down and got it. And Wiggins was right there on that drive, and a foul called on the Clippers.
Look at this defense by Wiggins. I mean, he is draped.
The isolation, the complete side of the floor.
Oh my, what a big time shot by Paul George. 9 points for the big fella. That's not a bad option either. Caleb with range. That was 28-footer.
5-point lead for the Heat, their biggest lead of the game, and Luke Cano.
In the course of the game.
George makes the risky pass. Senior makes the tough shot. Book it for Marcus Morris. What a
ball screens, they're switching very little. On ball, they'll switch a little bit more, but you're right. Paul George with a terrific, but the catch and go by George, the bump by Matthews, and